Hi computer scientists! In this video we're going to look at while loops and some common mistakes that were made on the last assignment. So this was a question that we had in the previous assignment. What does this print? Before we look at this code, let's consider what it does when we just print I right now. So I'm going to comment this out by putting 3 quotation marks around it. And that means anything that's between the 3 quotation marks and the closing 3 quotation marks is not going to run. So if I have I equals 0 and I print I, what will this print? It just prints 0. If I put quotation marks around I, what will this print? It will print I. So if we have quotation marks, it prints the string that we have written right here. If we don't have quotation marks, it looks for the variable with this name. So it looks for the variable I and says, what value is I? I right now is 0. So instead of printing I, it's going to print 0. It uses the value of the variable. So now let's go back to our previous code. We have I equals 0. While I is less than 10, we're going to do the following. That's what the colon means. Print I. So right now, what is the value of I? At the beginning, the value of I is 0, so it will print 0. Then we set I to be whatever I was plus 2. So if I is 0 and we add 2, what is the new value of I? 0 plus 2 is 2. So now I is 2. Now this print is not indented, so it's not in the while loop. So we're going to go back to the while loop up to the top, and now I we said is 2. So that's 2 instead of I. 2 is less than 10? Yes. So we're going to print I again. So what's the value of I now? I is 2. So we're going to increment I by 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So the new value of I is 4. Again, that's the end of our while loop, so we'll go back to the beginning. 4 is now our value of I. Is 4 less than 10? Yes. So we're going to print I, which is 4. So now we have 4. Now we increment I again. 4 plus 2 is 6. We go back to the beginning. 6 is less than 10? Yes, it is. So we print the value of I, which is 6. We increment I by 2. We get 8. And we put it in. Is 8 less than 10? Yes. So we're going to print out 8. Oops. Should have put that now. And then we increment it. And now I, remember, is currently 8 plus 2. So the new value of I is 10. So here we have 10 instead of I. This became 10. Is 10 less than 10? No. So 10 is not less than 10. We're going to move out of the while loop. So out of the while loop means where it's no longer indented, where it's no longer moved in. So that is over here. It is not indented, there are not spaces at the beginning of the line before print. So after this, it will print done. So let's double check that. Run. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, done. Here's another question that many people got incorrect. We have the variable my value equals 10. We have a while loop. While my value is less than or equal to 100, we're going to do the following. Print your value is, comma, my value. So if I run this, it's going to continue printing your value is 10, your value is 10 over and over and over again. We don't want that to happen. We want it to stop printing your value is at some point. So what can we do that would make this, my value, less than or equal to 100, false? Well, right now my value is 10. If I'm adding to my value, I can eventually get to a number that is not less than or equal to 100. That is more than 100. So we're going to add to my value equals my value, the current value, plus some amount. You could have written any amount for this one, but let's make it 10. Now if I run the code, what will it print? Your value is 10, your value is 20, 30, all the way to 100, and it stops after 100 because that's where we told it to stop. Let's say we change this to be 40. What will it print now? 10, 50, 90, and it doesn't get up to 100 because 90 plus 40 is 130, which is not less than or equal to 100. So it's really important that we have some incrementing statement so that our loop does not continue forever. Now let's look at another program and let's figure out what this does. We have A equals input, would you like to quit? So this is asking a question to the user and they can answer different things. Whatever they answer is stored in the variable A. Then we say, while A is not equal to Y and A is not equal to N, we're going to ask again, would you like to quit? So let's run this in different scenarios and say what will it print. So would you like to quit? If I say Y, what will happen next? It quits. It finishes the program. So A is not equal to Y. A is Y, so that can't not be Y. So this condition is not true. Let's try running it again. Would you like to quit? If I say N, what will it do? It quits as well. It stops running. That's because this one is no longer true. A is now N. N is not equal to N. That's false. So it does not enter the while loop. What if I run it again and I write lol? What will happen now? It asks again. If I say Miss Batat, what will happen now? It asks the question again. If I say yes, what will happen? It asks the question again. Why do you think this would be useful? This is a way of validating data. Users might choose to put in any random things, and you want to make sure they give you the specific answer that you're looking for. So if you want them to put in a Y or an N for yes or no, this will ask again if you would like to quit until they give you something of the format Y or N. Also, remember and from our if statements means that both of these statements need to be true. If we had instead or, that would mean only one of them needs to be true. I hope this helps you understand while loops a bit better.